Okay, let's all just take a collective breath. Put down your cup of tea, stop whatever you were doing, and let's talk. Because what we just witnessed on Emmerdale tonight, it's one for the history books. It was gut-wrenching, shocking, and has left the entire fandom reeling. I'm still trying to process the final, heart-stopping scenes. The sight of Jacob Gallagher, our Jacob, lying unconscious and being stretchered into an ambulance is an image that will be burned into my memory for a long, long time. We've watched him grow up on our screens, from a cheeky young lad to a man who has endured more than his fair share of trauma. And tonight, it feels like his world, and ours, has been shattered into a million pieces. The episode started with that classic deceptive Emmerdale calm. The sun was shining on the village, characters were bickering over pints in the wool pack, and there was a sense of normalcy that, in hindsight, was utterly terrifying. Jacob and Victoria were navigating their ever-complicated relationship, sharing one of those rare, genuinely sweet moments near the farm. They were talking about the future, about making things work, about maybe, just maybe, finding a slice of happiness. The tension began to build subtly. A heated phone call for Victoria. A lingering, ominous shot of a passing vehicle. The typical background noise of the village seemed to fade, replaced by a low hum of impending doom that every seasoned soap fan knows and dreads. We were all screaming at the telly, weren't we? Get inside. Watch out. But they couldn't hear us. And then it happened. In a horrifying blur of screeching tires, twisted metal, and shattering glass, everything changed. It wasn't a dramatic, drawn-out crash. It was brutal, sudden, and sickeningly realistic. One moment, Jacob was stepping onto the road to retrieve his dropped phone. The next, he was thrown through the air by a speeding car that didn't even seem to slow down. The silence that followed was deafening. Victoria's scream was primal, a sound of pure, undiluted horror that ripped through the quiet evening air. The camera work was masterful, focusing on the small, tragic details. Jacob's phone, screen cracked, lying just out of reach. A single shoe on the tarmac. The dazed, panicked look on Victoria's face as she scrambled to his side, her hands trembling as she pleaded with him to wake up. Seeing him lying there, so still and pale, it was just unthinkable. This is Jacob, the boy who survived the manipulative evil of Maya Stepney. The young man who stepped up to be a father figure to baby Theo when his own father, David, left for London. The grandson who is the absolute apple of Eric Pollard's eye. He's a legacy character, a part of the very fabric of Emmerdale. The paramedics' arrival was a whirlwind of frantic activity and medical jargon that only amplified the chaos and terror of the moment. As they worked on him, listing his injuries and fighting to stabilize him, the true gravity of the situation began to sink in. This isn't just a broken leg or a concussion. This is life or death. When they rushed him away, with Victoria looking on in a state of catatonic shock, it felt like we were watching the end of an era. My heart absolutely breaks for Layla. We know she's been to hell and back herself, battling her own demons. Jacob has been her rock, her reason to keep fighting. How will she cope with this? The news will shatter her. And David, all the way in London, will he finally come back to the Dales for his son? He has to, right? He couldn't stay away now. The thought of Eric Pollard hearing the news is just too painful to even contemplate. That man has already lost so much. Losing his beloved grandson would surely destroy him. The vehicle sped off, leaving nothing but devastation in its wake. Was this a tragic, random accident? A hit and run by a panicked stranger? Or was it something far more sinister? This is Emmerdale after all. Accidents are rarely ever just accidents. Our minds are racing with possibilities. Could it be connected to one of the village's ongoing feuds? We know the Dingles are never far from trouble. Could a deal gone wrong have put Jacob in the crossfire? Or perhaps it's someone with a grudge against Victoria, and Jacob was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. The list of potential suspects in a village like Emmerdale is always terrifyingly long. Tonight, social media is a torrent of shock, grief, and frantic speculation. Fans are devastated, with hashtag #PrayForJacob already trending. Everyone is sharing their theories, pointing fingers, and above all, sharing their love for a character who has been a constant in our lives for so many years. We have to give a massive shout-out to Joe Warren-Plant, the incredible actor who has portrayed Jacob since 2010. He has grown up before our very eyes, tackling some of the most challenging and sensitive storylines the show has ever produced with a maturity and talent far beyond his years. His performance in the grooming storyline was nothing short of phenomenal. If this is truly his exit storyline, it will be a monumental loss for the show and its viewers. As the credits rolled on that devastating cliffhanger, we were left with nothing but questions and a profound sense of dread. Will Jacob pull through? Who will be by his bedside in his darkest hour? And when will the village discover the horrifying truth about who was behind the wheel? One thing is for certain. The Dales have been plunged into darkness, and the aftershocks of tonight's events will ripple through every cottage and corner of the village for months to come. We are on the edge of our seats, our hearts in our throats, desperately waiting for tomorrow's episode. What are your theories? Who do you think was driving the car? Share your thoughts and support in the comments below. We all need to get through this together.